FPS players we have in the entire world playing Overwatch. Getting to see him come back here, play on the stage. Awesome. He'll be playing Tracer here at the start. You'll have Zachary picking the Widowmaker duties. That's why you see him on this roster, can play so many different heroes. As you know, last year maybe they would have had some issues who plays what. Now he can come in, play so many different things. They're going to go DPS heavy here at the beginning with Unko on Ana, and then Closer playing Lucio.
The Dynasty here with Jayhong actually going for the Moira pick. It's interesting. Obviously, a large capacity for healing, conditionally. Especially if there's no D.Va on the side of the field to eat up those orbs. So Zachary, known for his Widowmaker play, just going to set up here on the high ground a little bit earlier. Now remember, if you're not hitting heads, you're not getting kills. And that's definitely what it needs to be finding here, especially as the fight is now dragging on and SEOUL have control.
And I wonder if it was SEOUL Dynasty's plan all along to play Moira, or when they saw the Dallas starting 6 get on the stage and see their D.Va's not in, expect them to come out not playing D.Va.
Honestly, that's meta as heck, but I wouldn't blame them, really. See, especially given the SEOUL lineup, it can be so flexible, and Jayhong's shown he can play every flex support.
Although you remember, SEOUL did play a decent amount of Moira on Horizon Lunar Colony last year. Jayhong picking up that role, but they'll come out, they'll get control of the point first. Some changes come through for the Dallas Fuel, so they will not be playing the D.Va here. They're going to be playing Ryan Zarya, and then they'll have AKM play Sombra, very close to an EMP. Everybody grouped up for SEOUL Dynasty.
Look at that, though. Fisher went straight into the back, but he got 3 plays. EMP'd. AKM turns on Fisher first, and what a great way to try and cut the legs out from under SEOUL by removing one of the foundational pillars. Now SEOUL have to challenge on the point as Dallas want to pressure it down, but they've got 5 plays. Michelle is hacked, removed from his suit as well. AKM is getting value with the Sombra early.
And I really like this lineup for the Dallas Fuel. Gives them a lot of versatility. As we mentioned, AKM can play D.Va. We've seen it in the past. But I think Sombra, you know, against some of these triple tank, triple support compositions, giving the team some trouble. Jayhong switches over to Ana here. There'll be a rally and a grab that comes out early.
OGE caught in the very thick of it here. He's so low, somehow stays alive in the sound barrier. Perfect planting from Closer. It doesn't get any better than that. SEOUL thought they had it, and then the ship got scuttled.
Now you see, Becked with the Graviton Surge here, how they decide to use this. Do you maybe like play close so you can get some scouting here with AKM? AKM can EMP, prevent obviously the grab coming,
they're all hacked, Matt.
Yeah, you don't need to use grab. You go in, you get 2 picks, you can back out, but now I think what Effect they'll have to do is throw the grab into the wall. You don't want Michelle to eat it up with the defense matrix.
This is a much better look from the Dallas Fuel as opposed to their first match of the season. Against the Shock, they looked indecisive. They looked a little bit scared, and they didn't really know when to push in or when to just give a fight up. Sometimes they fought for no reason and you know, expended ultimates to try and win. Here it seems like they've got that covered. Here's the Graviton Surge. Munchkin's caught in it. It's going to be an immediate response with the sound barrier. Closer gets a little bit too close there, takes a bit of damage, is forced to back up, and now Dallas do have to jockey back a bit. Going to be a self-destruct in the middle here, and it's not going to be good news for Zachary. OGE was blown away, and Dallas are down to 3.
It's a really nice placement of that self-destruct. It was like kind of almost like in the middle between like OG and his shield, and there's nothing he can really do to block that.
OG got charged out of the way as well.
Yeah.
Fisher's more than happy to play Reinhardt right now.
And when you saw Effect with that grab earlier, it was actually a really nice grab, and the reason why you see a lot of players throw it into the wall is because with D.Va's defense matrix able to eat the Graviton Surge, once it hits an object, there's nothing there that she can eat. So you see a lot of them opt to put it towards the wall. This should be big. Fissure with the nano boost, he's going to go in and get aggressive.
Charges forward, hits the wall. He's so far away, but goes for the shadow regardless. Doesn't quite get what he was looking for, though, as Munchkin already fell down, while Fisher was too busy swinging with the hammer. Unko was sending orbs downfield. So Dallas have a 6v5 advantage currently, but they do not control the point. AKM, with that EMP in tow, is going to want to bring that to bear should it be necessary. And yeah, he lets it go quickly. Fisher, defenseless. And now the Dynasty are rudderless.
And even though he's knocked out of stealth, I believe that's a fire strike that comes through the shield, he still decides to use the EMP there. You have an opportunity to swing the fight in your team's favor. You have Shatter and Grab here, so you know you take the point back. They're forced to kind of run through. They may not even make it.
The timing's not great. Graviton Surge already here for Dallas Fuel, and Jayhong already falls. From in over the top, the Dynasty can cover. They're down to 4 plays, make it 3. Fisher falls, Munchkin not far behind. A desperate Graviton Surge, but of course, there was a Transcendence laying in the wait. The Dallas Fuel have made some key improvements over the course of the last couple of days, and it yields this first round.
And I think what we saw with San Francisco in the last series is sometimes they started, like towards the end, they started to be a bit passive. I think that may have been an issue with Dallas Fuel the other day. We saw their game. I think when you play Sombra in this type of comp, you have to play aggressive to get any type of value out of those EMPs and those hacks. And you see Dallas, it looks very strong there, Mitch.
Value from Sombra. The Widowmaker play obviously didn't really go the way they would have liked it to. OG got to do a heck of a lot of work damage-wise. Things look like they've calmed down a little bit for this roster here. The nerves, of course, shaken off. I think it was mentioned by one of the Dallas Fuel players that they panicked a lot during their match against the Shock. They knew they were up against it.
I mean, another year of high expectations for the Dallas Fuel, right?
It never ends. High ground is OG. He's going to be that wrecking ball play, but the Dynasty are able to sort of work their way around the outside here. And again, they'll just be looking for the weakest target. Will it be a Zachary they try and jump on, or Unco perhaps? Again, just a maneuvering game early in the round.
And it really makes it difficult for Munchkin because when teams dive in, what is your, I mean, you have that shield bash with Rig, right? You can do a ton, you can take out some of these flankers. The issue is you have OG, AKM, and Effect coming behind you. So who do you decide to go after? They get AKM early.
Yep. Soul died straight on Unco there. In fact, it was actually OG that had to go back and peel. I don't think Dallas Fuel really want to play reactively with this particular composition.
No.
They're playing the style of Overwatch with that comp. That wants to be the one, the first one to draw blood, the one to force the mistake.
This is actually rare. So SEOUL Dynasty gets control of the point and then goes all the way back to Spawn to switch some heroes.
They read that, I think they read that Dallas would switch.
They are going to go back.
As well. So what's interesting about that is they go straight for a Reinhardt in a 3-3 setup. Thinking that maybe Dallas might go for the Winston, or they just want it.
That was a 6 sleep dart. AKM gets put to sleep there by Jae-Hong, and they jump on the Sombra. Take him out as, you can run on against this. There's no Diva on the other side to eat these anti-heal biotic grenades. You can do a ton of work.
Fisher loves a bit of a nano boost, Matt. We've already seen it previously. I really feel like this is the team that's built around him very much. Whereas perhaps the SEOUL Dynasty of last season, the main tank role wasn't as much of a focus, considering it was a revolving door situation. Munchkin has to shield bash out of the way. He took a lot of poke damage early on. That's a nasty Bionade. That's so gross! Oh. Effect and OGE call by that one. Effect put to sleep, and yet they are absolutely done. Zachary gets one back, Matt, but it's struggle city right now. Dallas.
Look, I mean, you can see why SEOUL Dynasty lets Jae-Hong play Ana. Just the 6 sleep darts. I mean, remember when Ana was released? He's like the original, the one that you think of, playing the hero.
The first World Cup we covered, we started to realize that South Korea was such a dominant force. Players were saying, if you let Jae-Hong do what he wants, he will actually 1v6 you with this hero. Now, granted, Ana was a little bit different back then. Still very powerful, but that's a good EMP. 4 players caught in that one by AKM, but he has to give up his life almost immediately. The fact that he actually got the ult off in itself is pretty amazing, but there it is. Dallas getting EMP'd as well. It lights out Dallas. SEOUL Dynasty. Oh, that was not close.
And what I think can be scary, as SEOUL Dynasty figures out this roster, is that, obviously, you pump some resources into Fisher. We know what he can do for a team. It's Fleta, with how good he is and, with the work that we saw with him on all the damage-dealing heroes last year, he wasn't like a DPS player who needed a ton of resources to be successful, right? I mean, a lot of the times the supports on SEOUL Dynasty were just so worried about keeping the tanks alive. That is filthy, dude. As
I shouldn't lie.
Look, with Jae-Hong able to play all the flex supports, Fleta not needing a ton of support to play at an insane level, and then you add Fissure in, this could be a really scary team.
SEOUL Dynasty of all the pieces they need. I mean, I'm sure fans are very happy to see Jae-Hong back in their flex support role and not as the main tank.
The fans probably don't want us to say that because we said that last year, but this year they really have all.
That's right.
All
they also like being told things that are nice about their team, man. That's the one thing I've learned about fans.
Positivity. That's what Monty always says.
So they're going to go back. So they don't want to run out with this Moira here.
Yeah.
I mean, again, there's no Diva, but Jae-Hong would love a bit more Ana action. Sombra here for Michelle.
You just won with the Ana and the Sombra combination, so go back to it. Give up the percentage on the point here first.
Okay, SEOUL they'd have to give up that first fight, or they have to go away and not actually have that engagement, but it's not a huge deal for them if they can move pretty quickly. If this is a long fight and they've given up control, it could be a big problem. AKM already almost halfway towards the EMP. Cute little hack. It's going to slow SEOUL down quite a lot. They're taking vastly more damage. It was Jexa that actually got hacked by AKM, which was very annoying for SEOUL. He's down now. Effect picked him up. Effect gets hacked. That's a 3-man bio grenade. That's pretty gross, but there's no follow-up there for Seoul. They're very split.
It's a really good first fight for the Dallas Fuel. AKM able to build up this EMP. And what EMP does is it allows you, I mean, you can combo some of these ultimates, but EMP plus a Lucio speed boost charging at the other team, they can't speed away. They can't use a lot of their abilities. You're going to win those fights. It just buys you fights where you don't have to use ultimates and can just go in and then build ultimates of your own. As you see right there, 5-player EMP.
But not Jayhawk. Jayhawk uses the nano boost immediately there, trying to give it to Fisher, give him a little bit of staying power, but perhaps he should have just kept that in his pocket. With Flutter going down, Fisher, as soon as the nano boost disappears, he's going to be taking a face full of damage. Maybe not an ultimate. Seoul really wanted to commit, but at the end of the day, it's not as impactful as an EMP, something like that, which they still have.
And let's see how Dallas plays against this Sombra. Like, they're trying to spread out a little bit here.
I like that. They're going to converge now. Yeah, they get caught. 4 players from the Dallas Fuel are hacked up, but Unko still gets the Transcendence. It's not enough to keep OG alive, though. That's going to be an issue. Flutter going down, but already 2 missing from the Dallas Fuel, and Unko falls foul of a fire strike from Fisher. He does have himself a shatter, but I don't think we need to use it right about now. Seoul managed to break back in. Now EMP definitely still hurt Dallas. It's kind of hard, Matt.
Yep.
How are you going to split when you're trying to converge on a grab from your own team?
It's so difficult as well because, you know, the chokes here, if they all start overwhelming one, it's like, how do you not kind of go over towards your teammates and try and help them out? So you're kind of walking into it. At this point, though, Dallas really just needs one fight to go in their favor to take the map. So
I'd be scared, though, because Michelle's already halfway to his next EMP.
But if you want to get this sound barrier off and use it as AKM almost dies there.
That is incredible.
But if you can get this sound barrier off before the EMP or let's say a hack, you can get a good value out of it if you're Dallas and push on to the point.
That's huge! It's massive! Sound barrier quickly and hastily applied by Dallas, and it actually gets them out of jail. Now they have a chance to come forward themselves. There has to be an EMP, and it rips the sound barrier off of 4 of Seoul's players. They thought they could come back and get aggressive, but his South Korean crew are getting pushed back now. Munchkin is down. It's a buy grenade on towards OGE, but that is far from enough. Dallas are back in control with 10% to go. Seoul are on the ropes.
They're going to have an opportunity to touch here, though, and Michelle does have an EMP. You can stall this out long enough. Munchkin comes back with a rally. This is definitely not over.
Michelle gets there, but he's down. That's not what he wanted. He needed to use that EMP, but Dallas were canny. They saw him coming a mile off, and Fisher is sent packing in much the same way. It's a Graviton surge. Doesn't really do much for Seoul right here. Getting Zachary's a good start. Jexa really needs to stall this point out, kind of like Mock did in the previous series, but it's so hard. Dallas want to win more. It's as simple as that.
Michelle not able to get that EMP off because he ends up getting hacked by AKM on the point. They never get a use of that EMP. It's the Dallas Fuel to take map number 1 in this series.